We're just starting. 2 more pieces. Next, or this. You know, we are seated amongst great environmentalists. And we love trees. How many of you love trees? Trees. Yeah, my next piece, trees. Yeah. 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 Let us preserve good trees. Let us plant more trees. Let us preserve good trees every day. Let us plant more trees everywhere. Plant a tree to fight global warming. Kama unakata trees ni warning. Panda miti ndio to fight global warming. Climate change ndiyo sign ndiyo warning. Panda miti Afrika. Panda miti Amerika. Panda miti Jamaica. Panda mti kila place unapoweza. Plant a tree helps soil regeneration. Trees are good for the health and nutrition. Carbon sinking for food and habitation. Water catchment zone in our nation. Trees, water sweet sensation. Trees, with the pure vibration. Trees, it give you pure meditation. Trees, trees are the natural cure for the world. Good trees every day. Let us plant more trees everywhere. Plant a tree to fight global warming. Kama unakata trees ni warning. Panda miti ndio to fight global warming. Climate change ndiyo sign ndiyo warning. Panda mti kuza mti every day. In a this time we no have time for play. Ukikata tree jua una go astray. Ukidis mother earth umedis kila mse. Plant a tree, protect and preserve. Kama wewe unapenda mama earth. Plant a tree, protect and preserve. To have a tree is a blessing from above. Panda mti hapa home and abroad. Usicheki kama hii ni heavy load. Panda trees benefits zake ni mob. Chokman dada sema panda miti mob. Let us preserve good trees every day. Let us plant. Wapi mikono? Mbona tupigi makofi? We are not clapping. Go. Panda miti Afrika. Panda miti America. Yo. Panda miti Jamaica. Panda mti kila place unapoweza. Plant a tree helps for regeneration. Trees are good for the health and nutrition. Carbon sinking for food and habitation. Water catchment in our nation. Water sweet sensation. Trees give you pure vibration. Trees give you pure meditation. Trees are the natural cure for the world. Good trees every day. Let's sing together. Let us plant more trees every day. Let us plant more trees everywhere. Plant a tree to fight global warming. Kama unakata trees ni warning. Panda mti ndio to fight global warming. Climate change ndiyo sign ndiyo warning. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Chokman dada once again. Sing, let us preserve good trees every day. Let us plant more trees everywhere. panda mti ndio to fight global warming. Kama unakata trees ni warning. Ati nini? Panda mti ndio to fight global warming. If we plant trees, we are fighting global warming. Kama unakata trees, this is a warning to you. If you cut down trees, this is a warning. Make me touch my last piece before I sit down and get some teachings. This is my favorite song, my last song. And I dedicated it to my mentor. My mentor is a beautiful queen, Professor Wangari Maathai. That's my hero. She's my shuja. Yes. I do what I do because I'm an environmentalist and I love trees. At the moment, I work with Ngong Social Justice and an Environmental Center. My convener is Sankara Nyagaya. And at the moment, we are dealing with afforestation. We are planting trees where the trees were once cut down. They were the existing trees, but they were cut down. So we are replenishing the trees. This piece is Wangari Maathai. I really love this song. Ikikushika, unaweza ingia YouTube utaipata pale. All this ready when you're ready. Yeah. Thank you. Hey, listen carefully. Yeah, we don't want to mourn, it's a life celebration. Life well lived under true dedication. Many achievements, look at our education. Professor Wadai, our great philanthropist. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees, walimtesa walai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. Alichunga mazingira na kupa miti uhai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees, walimtesa walai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. Hey. 1st of April, the year 1940, pale Nyeri town, Mount Kenya, sio popote. Queen was born good looking and pretty. Oh, what a joy in a Mount Kenya city. Born and raised kwenye lifestyle ya poverty. Hiyo situation ikafanya awe activist, environmentalist na political activist. Professor Maathai, our great philanthropist. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees, walimtesa walai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees, walimtesa walai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. Alichunga mazingira na kupa miti uhai. Listen. Hey. Shuja aliteseka na oppression from the system. 1977 akaleta GreenBelt movement. President Moi akatuma na afungwe. Very deep. Very deep. Mama alifungwa, si ndio? Kwa sababu ya miti. Shuja aliteseka na oppression from the system. 1977 akaleta GreenBelt movement. President Moi akatuma na afungwe. Cause ya Uhuru Park na Karura Forest. Shuja Maathai atabaki our general. Salute our mama for the Edinburgh medal. Petra Kelly Prize. Alikuwa frontline ku fight for rights our mama. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees, walimtesa walai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. Hey. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees, walimtesa walai. Love and respect, Prof. Wangari Maathai. Hey. Mystery Babylon so cruel and wicked. While it is a mama and we know say them are hidden. 25th of September 2011, Mama akatuacha na ametulia heaven. Hey, we don't want to mourn, it's a life celebration. Life well lived under true dedication. Professor Maathai ni shujaa wa many nations. Hey, wa many nations. Hey. Love and respect Prof. Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof. Wangari Maathai. Love and respect Prof. Wangari Maathai. Walimtesa walai. Prof. Wangari Maathai. Hey, hi. It's a life celebration. We don't want to mourn, but we are celebrating Mama. Yes. Thank you very much. This is Chokman Dada, the Black Ambassador. Thank you, Job.
Good morning, everyone. Hello. Hello. How are you doing? How are you feeling? We are full house, right? I hope you've taken time to really know your neighbor, interact with your neighbor, so that beyond just us celebrating our prof today, we also get to network, right? We also get to also listen and understand what our friends, their experiences, and what is going around them. So before we say much, my name is Job Mwangi. I'm the advocacy manager at the GreenBelt movement. And likely most of you have interacted with me in one or the other to be here. For those of us who really want to access the other offices, those personal offices, when you feel like you need to send a message, you'll go this way. Behind, there are those facilities where you can visit. Okay? So as we kick off, I'm going to invite McKenna to pray for us. Then we can kick off. Karibu sana McKenna.
Good morning, everyone. Let's bow our heads for our word of prayer. God, we come before you this day. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the gift of good health. Thank you for the gift of togetherness and for having us here today. As we start our program, I pray that you go ahead of us, beside us, behind us, and lead us to have proper discussions, and all honor and glory shall be unto you. For what we haven't prayed for, may the Holy Spirit intercede. In Jesus' name we do pray and believe.
Thank you so much, McKenna. Today is a celebration. Sindio? It is a celebration. We are not sad. We are really celebrating an icon, somebody who really shaped our Kenya today. I know the audio team is also working on that. And being a day of celebration, we're also here to reflect on the life of Wangari. And I know our Msani really brought out the aspect of who Wangari was, why she has inspired many of us. And for that, we want to invite GBM board member who will come and really give us the journey of Wangari and also welcome us to this great institution. Karibu sana.
Good morning. My name is Cyrus Kimamo. I am in the board of GreenBelt movement. I am the secretary to the board. On behalf of GreenBelt movement board, I welcome you all This is a very beautiful morning to me when I see people turning up like this for an icon of such kind of Professor Wangari Maathai. I will not have a long story about Professor Wangari Maathai, but I can mention a few because of what he has done or what he did for this country. Wangari Maathai was born in Tetu, Nyeri County, in 1940. Thereafter, she joined primary school in Hide, then Tetu Girls, then Madari, then United States, where she went to study veterinary science. So Wangari Maathai had a very good history when she was young. Where she comes from, there's a small river called Kagumo River. And that is where she was going to play. There are some insects in the river, this pure water, whereby she could play with those insects before she crosses to go to the primary school. She did so well, and she succeeded. In 1977, Wangari Maathai left teaching in Nairobi University, where she was a lecturer. By then, she was in the Women League of Kenya, whereby she said, and she had a calling. This one I say is a calling. It is not actually scientific. It is a calling from God, whereby she saw that the world will be a desert. The rate that people are destroying the forests, the environment, is a sign, and was a sign to make the world a desert. Then she invited ladies whom they were together in the Women League to join her so that they can start planting trees together. Unfortunately, most of them declined because they were so young and they could not soil their hands or their fingers or their nails with the soil. Then she said, fine, I'll go it alone. And there she did, and she founded GreenBelt movement in 1977. The first nursery tree in the rural area is currently in Muranga, a place called Sabasaba. As you know, that town, those who are from Mount Kenya, on the left-hand side, in that town, there's a bush. That bush is the first tree nursery of Mount Kenya in those years. And from that, she never went back. She never looked back. She went on and said, now, I am going to start planting trees. Who do I use to plant trees? Do I use graduates with the diplomas in forestry? Or who do I use? And then she said, women are the people who are suffering because lack of firewood, fetching water from very far. And then she said, I am going to plant trees with women. And she started. And the women were trained just for a while, and they knew how to put a nursery or develop a tree nursery of indigenous trees and agroforestry. Today, those people who have gone to Nyeri or to Mount Kenya region, you cannot trace a home today because of graveria. It's all bush. It's like if the forest was carried away from the forest size to the reserve. And that's how it is today. Women benefited from firewood, timber to build, and a token from the fads of GreenBelt movement that started empowering women. To date, 45 years back, we are still empowering women and women groups in this republic. We have covered 26 counties today where GreenBelt movement is felt. Last year, we were in Makueni, Nakuru, Nyeri, and many other places. According to the data, maybe, since we incepted GreenBelt movement, we have done more than 60 million trees to rehabilitate forests with KFS and also community land and the small-scale farms owned by the people. Therefore, the movement is still going on. We are unstoppable, may I tell you. And Professor Wangari Maathai is well known for protecting Karura Forest. There, bloodshed was shed because of the love of environment. And I don't know why people are so salivating on where the environment is. Why not elsewhere? Let us keep in check, and we won't let Karura go. We won't let Gong go, and we won't let anywhere else, even here in town. You know about Freedom Corner and Uhuru Park. People are trying to put it or to convert it into concrete. We will not allow. We will not allow. But unfortunately, we are using a lot of money in legal affairs concerning this encroachment of good areas for environment. Wangari is well known for empowering women, that I had said, food security for women, and peace for the world. Peace for the world. Good governance, and especially in this country, whereby we are suffering today because of bad governance. I wish she's alive. She would have become the president of this republic. To show people what leadership is. To show people what leadership can do to the people. Unfortunately, she left us in 2011. May she rest in peace. Human rights. Prof wanted everyone in Kenya to know his or her rights. To know this country belongs to all of us. The democratic space that was lacking during that time. Today, we can see a signal. But my people, don't let this country go back to where we were. We will not let the democracy to be defiled, the constitution to be defiled. We will not let. We cannot have another dictator in this country. We must be serious people. The Gen Zs, all of us, let us be serious. Because dictatorship is not good. It kills, it abducts, it is retrogressive. We cannot move anywhere on development. Let us stop it. All of us, not GreenBelt movement through that guy on advocacy, all of us, all Kenyans, all Kenyans. She was not for tribalism. No. She was not for sectionalism. Never. She was for unity of purpose of a country like Kenya, which is a very beautiful country where everybody is willing to live. Let us be serious about it and let us capture it, let us protect it, let us love it dearly. Space for democracy for all. Today, you can see a little bit of interference of democracy, whereby even Gen Zs on the street, young people who are coming out to cry for this nation are being abducted and dumped and killed. I wish he's alive. This could not be happening. But Gen Zs, don't tire. We will support you. We will support you. Professor Wangari Maathai had a political legacy, and she had founded a party called Green's Party of Kenya, which we are going to relaunch. And that party, I'm sure you belong to it. You belong to that party. For those people who love good governance, environment, democracy, that is the party. We'll join with others and see whether we can bring this country back to where it was during Kibaki reign. I have no more to say. Thank you very much for listening to me. We march into the future together. Let us love one another. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bwana Kimamo, representative of the board at the GreenBelt movement. We are now going to the keynote address. And as you know, this event is a partnership between the GreenBelt movement and the Conservation Alliance of Kenya. GreenBelt movement is part of the Conservation Alliance of Kenya, amongst other organizations that are really concerned about conservation in Kenya. So we are honored to have the CEO of the Conservation Alliance of Kenya, Bwana Steve Aitela, who will be giving the keynote address. Karibu sana, Bwana Steve.
Thank you, Job. Good morning, everyone. Glad to see you guys. And you guys are looking so good. My name is Steve Aitela. I work with the Conservation Alliance of Kenya, which is an umbrella body that brings conservation organizations together for a purpose. And the purpose is to ensure that our environment is well taken care of and that the public is also sensitized enough to understand their role, and that the public also holds government accountable. When I hear of the history of this lady we are celebrating today, my mind flashes back a little bit to a conversation I had with her when she was an assistant minister for environment. And I thought that she would be our saving grace then, because I was still young in advocacy and involved in a lot of things. And I asked her a question. Now that you are an assistant minister, we feel good that you can influence things from within. And mine was to encourage her to continue what she was doing outside in government. Do you know what her response was? Can I shock you? This was her response. She said, now I am in government, I think like government. Because you are out, I expect you to do what I was doing. So literally what she did, she threw the challenge back to me. And I can assure you from that moment I learned when you're in government, you think like government. And when you're out of government, you hold government accountable. And that's why I'm reiterating that to you today, that it is our responsibility to hold our government accountable. Now, I'm going to give a keynote address in this auspicious gathering of honoring the legacy of the late Professor Wangari Maathai. And I stand before you, not because I like talking, but because I'm a steward. I'm a practical steward. If it is planting trees, I've planted trees. If it is anywhere in agroforestry, agriculture, I'm there, and I'm trying to bring conservation to be a reality as part of our lives. So I stand here before you because, number one, I'm a steward of God's creation, and I believe that each one of us has got a role to protect our environment. Kenya's forests are a lifeline, sustaining livelihoods, agriculture, energy stability. Literally every sector is important, and it's a blessing from God. There are places where they don't have a beautiful landscape like the one we have in Kenya, but Kenya is blessed with a vast landscape. Unfortunately, this landscape is under threat, not by outsiders, but by human actions. And the responsibility to act is ours. Nobody is going to do it for us. We are not going to cry and ask people from out to come and protect. It's our responsibility. But I want you to imagine this, that if we don't take care of our forests and our rivers dry, and I'm sure some of you have already seen rivers that have dried, you know the impact that that has caused. You have experienced rivers where you'd stop and get water and drink directly, and right now you cannot. So I want you to picture this, a place where rivers have run dry, a place where you try to grow things and nothing grows completely. The crops only grow up to this height and they die. A place where there was peace, serenity like the one we are in, and it gets very hot and you begin to walk with these fans. You know, Chinese are very intelligent. They are bringing those fans to us. We walk and it blows air to cool us. All right? That once thrived, now it's no more. Would you be able to live in that environment? Would you be comfortable to live in that environment? And I think this is the challenge that we have, because we are inching in close to that harsh reality if we fail to act decisively now. And so I just want to point a few things that we've been collaborating with the GreenBelt movement and others as a way of just giving you hope and encouraging you that the more of us come out to work together, the better we can actually make the environment a better place. Our catchment areas are very, very critical. I will mention a few, not many. Mau is very critical. Tusidanganywe na siasa ya Mau. Mau is very critical. Aberdare is very critical. Mount Kenya is very critical. Cherangani Hills is very critical. Mount Elgon is very critical. So when you hear politics coming in, that's the time for us to tell our politicians, there is no land in the forest for you to build a school. You know, they start with schools. Then they start with government headquarters. And they start with so many other things. And if you go to Parliament in the Hansard of Parliament, you will see a lot of development allowed in forests. So where we are right now, there's a competition for forest land. You know that thirst that you mentioned, Prof? It's real. I don't know what they are looking for there. I don't know what they are looking for. There's a big thirst. Mau complex is very critical, not only to Kenya, but also as you go downstream all the way to Tanzania. If we don't take care of Mau, Serengeti is dead. Did you guys know that? All right, Serengeti is dead. If you don't take care of Mau, Lake Victoria is dead. Egypt will cry. And if you don't take care of Mau, a lot of hydroelectricity dams are impacted negatively. Now, if I come to livelihoods, people, they will suffer because they depend on Mau forests. Not only the people who are close to Mau, but downstream, far of them, very, very critical. If I come to Abadeas, which is the latest one that we did quite a bit of work with GreenBelt movement, is we shouldn't fear because politicians are seeing us to be against development. While development is good, but we must do it in a sustainable way. We must balance it in a way that it's nice also. The people who come from Ihite and want a road through Abadeas to exit from the other side, please, let's think through that road. Already there exists a road. You can still pass it. But let's not build a highway through Abadea National Park. If you understand what happens with highways, is highways create other developments within a highway. And before you know, the intention of a highway has been lost and other things have come to destabilize that particular ecosystem. So my prayer is that we try and balance development and livelihoods and the future. Very key and very important. If we want a road, let's just make the road passable, motorable, all right? And everybody will pass there. But there are alternative routes that are there to be used. So Abadea is very critical that while the people want roads, it's also very important for us to ask us, is this road compromising something that we are benefiting now that we need to sustain for the future generation? I think that's a question that I leave you to be ambassadors so that we are not accused to be against development. No, no, no. We love development, but it must be sustainable development. And so when you look at the Abadea, good successes, increasing, good work, through your efforts and many other people's efforts. But just one activity will mess that gain. And so the key important element is when you contrast Abadea with other regions, is if we destroy Abadea, all the guys from Abadea mpaka Pwani, coastal region, will suffer. All the activities in between them will suffer. Tutakatiwa stima kila siku, and we will start paying huge cost for electricity bill. When I look at the hydro dam projects just within the source of Abadea, I once counted, they're almost like about 30. When I look at the livelihoods that are supported downstream, they are huge. So wale watu wa mlima, when people tell you wacheni mlima, ikae hivyo, it is because of the thousands that are downstream. Hawa ndio wanaumia sana. All right? So ladies and gentlemen, while we have got very good policies, these policies are not going to save us. Laws are not going to save us. It's the way we change our culture, the way we change our attitude, and the way we hold our enforcers to do their work. So the biggest challenge that we are having in our governance framework is law enforcement. Can I surprise you? Can I surprise you where lawbreakers start? Can I tell you? How many of us, when you buy a sweet or you buy a chocolate, and you've enjoyed your piece of chocolate, and you've enjoyed your water, what do you do after that? I have observed. You drink your beer, and your beer is finished, and it's a can. What do? Off the window, choop. So who's going to enforce that? So the reason I'm talking about, let's hold our enforcers accountable. I'm literally saying, let's hold ourselves, number one, accountable. Because we are the number one enforcer. What you do with that little item that will destroy the environment is very important and very critical. So when I talk about enforcers, see your police, I'm not talking about the policeman. I'm not talking about NEMA. I'm talking about you and me. I should have the courage to ensure that the right thing is done next to where I am. And so to safeguard our forest and to safeguard our lives, we must actually ensure that we are complying with the strict measures that have been placed around. And I just want to share with you some successful stories that are very critical. Some of them are your stories, and I may not be able to say a lot of them, but I just want to appreciate a few groups that have done a lot of things. The CFS, I salute you guys. You guys are doing a fantastic job with no resources at all. Let me put it, with no resources. CFS, yeah, excellent. Amazing work. The government may not recognize, but your reward in heaven is there waiting for you. So continue to do the good work. CFS, you do an amazing work of rehabilitating. You do an amazing work of sacrificing your resources and your time to ensure that the environment around you is in a good place. I will single a few of them. I'll sample a few of them because people ask, why are we protecting trees? What are the benefits of trees? In my 23 years in conservation, I have actually concluded that trees is life. When you restore, you create an environment for birds. You create an environment for wildlife. You create an environment for medicinal plants. You create an environment for researchers to come and research and see what they can extract so that it can help us. And we do that sustainably without destroying the very basic resource that we are benefiting from. And so trees are very, very crucial and very important in our livelihoods. But also, as we access the forest, there's one vice that I don't know how we will tackle it, and that is the charcoal burning. It's killing us. Charcoal burning is killing us. Many, many trees, shrubs are being cut for charcoal burning. I don't know what we can do about it. It's a big concern right now. It's a big concern in Kajiado at the moment. It's a big concern almost everywhere. But the middleman is benefiting, and the middleman is not planting trees. But the beneficiary also is benefiting because they are buying charcoal from exorbitant prices because they are getting it out illegally. And I don't know whether we need to deal with the destination, the buyer, or we need to deal with the source, or we need to deal with the middleman. I do not know. But I can tell you it's a complete disaster in this country. And I think we need to be proactive to look for solutions on how we are going to manage the demand for charcoal. That's very... While charcoal becomes a very important necessity We also need to begin exploring what other alternatives are there so that we keep our forests intact. I don't I don't mind you growing trees in your farmland and making charcoal. That one I've no problem. But where you go and cut a tree which you have not planted illegally, that's where I have a problem. And when you cut a tree to make charcoal, please plant a tree. But also know how long it takes for that tree to get ready. I recently planted mangoes. Mangoes take about 6 years for it to become mature. And they give you very good charcoal. But also plan your activities in a sustainable manner. That's why I salute CFAs, because CFAs are protecting this forest from human activities, and they have done amazing work to restore them. But here is the practical call to action. And I know if Wangari Maathai was to be alive now, she would repeat exactly the same words. And I want to divide it into various categories because we are leaders. If you are a leader, what would you do? You will lead by example. Okay? A leader leads by example. So if you are a leader, and all of us here are leaders, I charge you to lead by example. Do the little thing that Wangari Maathai talks about. Not big things, just the little thing. If you did your little thing, and I did my little thing, it will translate into a big thing. So don't aim for big things, just little things where you are. If you're in the private sector, adopt eco-friendly practices. Very important. For some of us who are aspiring to get into business, let's develop some practices that are sustainable. Now we are talking about nature-based. Get into the nature-based field and understand what options are there. By the way, there's a lot of money to be made from nature-based solutions. But it takes work, and a lot of work. If you are a conservation organization, do your work. Don't just make money. Don't just focus on writing project reports. Just do your work. Report on impact. If you are a community member, implement what you are seeing works for you. If you are in the academia, and this is something that I normally charge the academia, is do for us research that is practical and research that we can integrate into our education system, something that we can implement. So if you are doing research, ask yourself, how is this research going to help me? How is this research going to help somebody? That way, you'll be able to inspire and bring change. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we are standing at crossroads. I do not know whether I should go in front, whether I should turn to my left, or whether I should turn to my right. It's a complete crossroad, whether I should go back. But while I'm at the crossroad, I have to make a choice. And the choice is, do I restore or do I contribute to make it disappear? So this is the charge that I want to give you today, that let us collectively commit to act. And let's be a generation that restores as opposed to a generation that destroys. Thank you so much.
A better clap for Steve. That was actually very powerful. You choose to be the generation that either restores or what? Or destroys. The choice is yours. We are moving on to more serious discussions. But before that, I wish to recognize the presence of our Executive Director, Madam Dorothy Aseo. She can come and say hi as before we invite Chokman. Karibu sana, Madam Idi. Makofi, let's clap for Idi as she comes.
Good morning, everyone. It's a privilege and it's an honor to host you here. And my name is Dorothy Aseo Asuza, and I'm the Executive Director for GreenBelt movement, and we are honored to commemorate this day. And I really feel that this is the time to continue with the legacy, deepening the work that has been going on to conserve our environment, and especially the current conversations around the state of our forests in this country and in the region. I believe we are going to have more conversations, more commitment, and definitely call to action in regard to the work that we are doing. As GreenBelt movement, we still commit towards our mandate and definitely carrying on the legacy that Prof left to us. And this is something that my team and the partners that we work with have been critically been investing in, both resources, expertise, and even partnership. And we are glad all of you are here to help us forge that forward. I look forward to hearing what we have to work together with, what it is that actually we need to re-engineer, because some of these conversations, some of these partnerships, we'll need to re-engineer them, reimagine them, and see how we are going to forge the way forward. And we hope at the end of the day, it will not just be a commemoration, but something that we will go back and be able to put in our best efforts to be able to ensure that the work that we do individually in our own organizations, in our own capacities, is able to save the planet and also heal the earth. Thank you so much, and it's an honor to have you within GreenBelt movement, and we look forward to our continued collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Edie, for joining us, and also the sacrifice. She had another meeting in town, you can imagine. And making it here, she has really sacrificed. Really appreciate Madam Edie for joining us. I'm going to invite Chokman for one number about Wangari Maathai. Then we'll be headed to now the serious conversations of the day.
Thank you very much. My namesake Job. I'm also Job, but my stage name is Chokman. Yes, I was here before, but we'll do the song again because it's very inspiring and motivating to all the environmentalists. Basically, the song is just, I tried to bring the history of our Shujaa and summarized it into a song. How she was born, how she grew, and how she became a hero, and then how she passed on. And we are not mourning, we are celebrating instead, yeah? We are not mourning Mama. Let's agree. We are celebrating her. That's why I decided to become a hummingbird. We just do little, but if we do the little stuff, all of us, it will be huge. Ausio? Yeah? Are you ready for Wangari Maathai? Odisa, are you ready? Yes, do it. Give me a hand clap. Hey. Yeah. 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 Cha. We don't want to mourn, it's a life celebration. Life well lived under true dedication. Professor Maathai ni shujaa wa many nations. Hey, 1st of April, the year 1940, pale Nyeri town, Mount Kenya, sio popote. Queen was born good looking and pretty. Oh, what a joy in a Mount Kenya city. Born and raised kwenye lifestyle ya poverty. Hiyo situation ikafanya awe activist, environmentalist na political activist. Professor Maathai, our great philanthropist. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. Alichunga mazingira na kupa miti uhai. Sing with me. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. Love and respect, let me teach you kidogo. Hold on. Love and respect to Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa. They really tested mama, eh? From the top. Hey, give me a hand clap. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof Wangari. Alichunga mazingira na kupa miti uhai. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. Listen. Shujaa aliteseka na oppression from the system. 1977 akaleta GreenBelt movement. President Moi akatuma na afungwe cause ya Uhuru Park na Karura Forest. Shujaa Maathai atabaki our general. Salute our mama fidi Edinburgh medal. Petra Kelly Prize wakamtuza mama. Alikuwa frontline kufight for rights our mama. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof Wangari. Alichunga mazingira na kupa miti uhai. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof Wangari. Alichunga mazingira na kupa miti uhai. Mystery Babylon so cruel and wicked. Walitesa mama and we know said them are hidden. 25th of September 2011. Mama akatuacha na ametulia heaven. We don't want to mourn, it's a life celebration. It's a life celebration. It's a life celebration. Life celebration. Hey, love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. Love and respect Prof Wangari Maathai. For peace and trees walimtesa walai. Love and respect Prof Wangari. Mama lives on. Mama lives on. She's here with us. And I can feel her presence in all of us. Thank you very much, Job.
Thank you so much, Chokman. That was nice, right? That was super good. Now, we've started getting into the serious conversations. And I'm going to invite Ngong Road CFA chairperson to come and do a small presentation. We know Wangari really fought for the forest. And the truth is that in Kenya currently, we are not at a good place. The reality is, we are not at a good place. There is a major appetite for public forest and any public space that is anywhere. So today we want to bring in the Ngong Road CFA so that they can come and tell us what exactly is happening. Why should we be concerned as Kenyans and friends of GBM? Karibu sana, the chairperson of the Ngong Road CFA. We'll do a very small presentation, then we'll carry on.
Thank you for inviting us here, and we're happy to be here. And happy to be associated with the late Professor Wangari Maathai. We love the forest, we love conservation, and we know it's not an easy job to do conservation work. When you do conservation, you're against development, and you don't have a lot of friends. On behalf of the community forest associations, we know it takes a lot to protect the forest, to protect our ecosystems wherever they are, not necessarily in the forest, but even other fragile ecosystems where the communities. It is not easy. It is not easy. I did not come alone from Ngong Road Forest. I want to maybe just request the other members from Ngong Road Forest Association to just stand and wave. Yeah, these are just a few representatives. We are more than 300 members. Because as you might understand, there is a Forest Act that recognizes that for the management of forests, it will have to take the government and the community on a 50-50 co-management basis. So every forest in the country has a community forest association. That is the members of the community that are surround that forest, that have an interest in protecting that forest, and also sustainably using that forest. I'm also aware we have other community forest associations. Maybe you can also stand, so you're also appreciated. I think we have Arboretum. I can see Wambogo and your team. Yeah. We also have Mogoga. And the other CFS, I don't know, maybe I'm taking jobs work, but it's okay. It's good to appreciate that we have other community forest associations around. If I now give the story of Gong Road Forest. Gong Road Forest is one of the biggest urban forests within a city. And Gong Road Forest is just 4 kilometers from here on your way to Karen. Initially, it was quite big, more than 3,000 hectares. But with time, it has been hived off for developments. I think my friend Steve explained how they come very nicely through very beautiful projects like schools and hospitals. And before you realize, the forest is gone. So currently, we only have 1,224 hectares. And the 1,224 hectares are further subdivided into 5 blocks by their own networks. Initially, it was only 2 blocks separated by Gong Road, the northern part and the southern part. But now when the southern bypass passed through, now we have 5. So we have a small block called Miotoni, we have Lenana, Karen block towards Karen, there's a sanctuary block which is quite big, the one that has Gong Race Course inside it and near the ASKI show and the Roaland camp. Then we have Bomas block. Bomas block is where we have Bomas of Kenya. Bomas of Kenya has a lease in the forest, but there's also a forest block that is not under lease in that block. So you can imagine the challenges in managing those 5 blocks. So it's like managing 5 different forests. And being within the city, the forest is under a lot of pressure for land. We have continually received applications. We are able to know some of them, but because we are not government, some of them come from the government. And one block, Lenana block, is currently very heavily leased. We have a lot of leases in that area. Actually, when you visit, you tour that area, when you come out, you don't know whether you have been in a forest or in an estate, sadly. There has recently been one more development in that Lenana block, where the railway line is being routed right through the forest, from Riruta towards Gong. And we really don't know why it has to pass through the forest, maybe because the forests are seen to be easy take. Because we have so many alternatives. The railway comes from Kibera as it goes towards Riruta. It was possible to have a diversion to follow Gong Road at Jamhuri Park. There's also the other alternative of coming off Dagoretti back to Karen and towards Gong. But sadly now it has been routed through the forest. And we are happy. We are getting support in fighting back that kind of development. We are also receiving a lot of requests for licenses for development of things like hotels, ecologies. And when they come from the top, sometimes as a CFA, it becomes very difficult for us to fight. And we thought maybe the best way to fight it is to have a fence around each of the blocks, at least to make sure the boundaries are physically demarcated. So as somebody is trying to fight, you fight either from inside when you are fenced inside the forest. We managed to raise funds through neighbors at Miotoni area and some corporates. We managed to fence Miotoni block. That is quite a small block. We fenced, we put a gate, and we went around inviting our area residents to come and visit. Finally, we have a very safe park you can visit near Karen. And it became popular, and still people still come to the forest, that bit of the forest. By then, we used to manage it, and we used to get some little revenue from there, and pay our private scouts or security to manage and to do the repairs. But as we speak now, it was taken back by the government. We did not give up. We are still on. We are currently facing the biggest block, which is the sanctuary block, with the kind support from I&M Foundation. The block is 695 hectares for 14.2 kilometers. That is now currently in progress. And we are hoping once we are done with that, we can be able to also fence the others, the current block, Lenana block, and Bombers block. Speaking of Bombers block, as I'm standing here, I understand there's a big stakeholders meeting there to discuss development in that block. We understand Bombers of Kenya is constructing an international convention center, I think the biggest in Africa. And they believe they are going to take up most of their space. But now the contractor needs some space to put their plant, the offices, the construction material, and they are requesting to use the forest. Do you want us to allow them to do that? Yeah, I'm just trying to put a picture of what we are facing every day, being in the city. Whoever has enough capital, they think they can put a restaurant. The easiest place to go to is either Gong Forest or Lolua Forest or any forest around. So our forests are really under pressure. Also, the location of the forest being next to or between two types of communities. We have the affluent side of Karen, and we also have Kibera and Kawangware on the other side. Each of them want to use the forest one way or the other. It is sometimes very interesting when you find the interaction of the different users in the forest. You'll find somebody from Karen on horseback, another one walking their dog, another one cycling. But when they're inside the forest, they'll meet a lady from Kibera carrying firewood. And then the one on horseback is telling the lady on firewood, now you are destroying the forest. So you see, we need to strike a balance because they also need to survive. But the way we are trying to do it is to establish or to introduce some income generating activities within the forest that they can still come to the forest, do an activity and get an income without cutting a tree. And through that we have activities like beekeeping. We have tree nurseries inside. And we are trying to come up with many others, nature-based enterprises that we don't have to cut a tree to benefit from a forest. And the forest has some very beautiful sceneries. It is a potential heavy tourist attraction. We are trying to open up trails for jogging and riding. Currently, we are doing that. But we have challenges. As people come to jog, the forest is not yet fenced. Somebody also decided to jog privately from the bypass of Kibera. So you might end up meeting inside. So we still have security challenges. And also still without a fence, we have challenges of people dumping waste at night in the forest. Because you know the procedure of waste disposal in the city, sometimes where the allocated sites could be far. But somebody will go around the estates and promise to dispose of their waste. They'll collect during the day. Then at night, instead of taking them all the way to Ruai, where it's supposed to be taken, they'll rush to the forest and leave it there. So we have those challenges here and there. But we are hopeful that with the support from like-minded conservationists, the community, the civil society, where our forests are going to remain intact. We cannot just let them go like that. Like the demands I'm mentioning now are just a few. Informally, we are informed that the forest has a lot of titles that we are not aware of. Every day someone is coming up and showing you a title. And it looks genuine to you, but since the forest is not yet gazetted, we still have to keep it intact. And just to give a success story, as we are celebrating today, our late Professor Wangari Maathai, she did a lot And she worked together with like-minded people. It was because she got support from a few friends that she was able to stand at her weakest point. And one of the friends she had was the late Dr. Aima Lofla. Dr. Aima Lofla was also an official of the East Africa Radio Society, where we have the Kenya Forest Working Group. And he was a horse rider. So he used to ride horses inside Gong Racecourse and also inside the forest. As he rode the horses, he started noticing some beacons inside the forest, deep inside the forest. So upon investigating further with a few more friends, including the late Professor Wangari Maathai, they realized Gong Road Forest was subdivided into 35 big plots, all given out. So they came together, they started a fight. They formed an organization that was called Gong Road Forest Sanctuary Trust, and they petitioned the state, the government then, and all those titles were revoked, were reversed. And that is how we have the forest today. It could not be there. So all is not gone. We know it can happen. We are able to save our forest if we work together. If we pull our heads together, we don't give up, and we keep on lifting each other, we can get there. This forest, like we are reminded by the late Professor Wangari Maathai, the environment, the earth, and the world does not belong to us, the current generation. It belongs to the future generations. So it is upon us to protect and hand over to the next generation better than we found it. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Simon. He has really tried to make it sound less tense. But that forest is actually facing a lot of threats. Currently, they want to build a railway across Ngong Forest. They want to take some part to build bombers. We know majority of people have also been allocated land in the same forest. So unless we do something, that forest will be gone. And these forests are not ours. They're for our children. They're not ours. They're for our children. The people ahead of us held them in trust for us. We found them. We have a responsibility to ensure that the children who are coming after us have forests. So we need to fight today. We don't need just to talk. We need to fight today. And when I talk about talking, I'm going to invite Mona, who will be now the moderator for the next session as we finalize. I know some people are looking at the tea. After that, we'll have the tea, so don't worry. don't worry. So after the discussion, we'll have tea, and I'll request... Karibu sana, Mona.
Hello, everybody. How are you? I feel like you should all stand up because you're all looking very lethargic. Yeah, thank you, Humphrey. Raise your hands in the air, like Humphrey. Yes. Shake it off a bit. Kidogo. We're going to go into a panel discussion. It's going to be very exciting, I imagine, considering the people who are going to be up there. Not because of me, but because of them. I want to very, very quickly just introduce myself, just to save the awkwardness as people get ready. So my name is Mona Mushami Juguna, and I work with the Wangari Maathai Foundation, especially in this commemorative year of 20 years since she won the Nobel, which was already mentioned earlier. And I think it's so fitting that the people who are here today, you can sit down now. It's fine. I think it's so fitting that the people who are here today are the experts carrying out that legacy. So I think, first of all, give yourselves a round of applause. Clap for yourself, as the Nigerians say, right? And everybody here is doing their own little thing, whether or not you realize it. I know the challenges are huge, and we're going to be hearing from the CFAs, and we know the challenges are huge, but in the spirit of Prof, what is your little thing? Just figure out what your little thing is. And that is enough. In fact, that is more than enough. And in fact, the fact that we're speaking to communities, I went and I Googled, and the Pan-African Review definition of community is about building harmony and giving meaning to life, which is an essential part of each person's existence. So earlier on, Steve told us about the way the Mao Forest connects to Uganda, Tanzania, Egypt, hydro. So basically, our Mao Forest, I don't call it Lake Victoria, I've decided to decolonize it. So it's either Ukwerewere, Namlolwe, Nyanza, or Nalubale. Nalubale, the Ugandans will kill me for my pronunciation. But that is how communities should work, isn't it? As in, it has to be an interconnectedness. Because if you're not interconnected, then there's nothing you can be doing. So your own little thing shouldn't be your own little thing by yourself. It should be your own little thing in conjunction with others doing their own little things in order to make a big difference. GreenBelt movement is a classic example of that. All the women who are growing and planting trees were their own little thing, but it was one big movement, and that's how change was made. And Prof knew that within her, and that is why she encouraged community. That is why the Forest Act exists today. It's about communities working together and with government, even the one that we have now. Right? So I want us to keep that spirit, and this is not going to be panel only speaking. The mic will go around for people to ask questions and to challenge, and I think we do need to challenge each other. We can't be sitting here all very pretty and happy. You look very wonderful, by the way. All of you are standing. Yeah. But it cannot be where we're looking at do the work, others to do the work, or looking at them and then criticizing them, or then trying to find divisions, as opposed to finding ways in which we're going to build each other up. So as I speak, I'd like those who have been invited to speak, if you don't know yourselves, I believe I was given your names. There was from Gong Forest, if you could please come back, Simon. Oh, is it? Oh, sorry, no. Was there a change? Is it you who's coming up? Please, because I do want this to be gender, balanced. We're not going to have manuals. So please come up, young lady. There was a Sabina as well. Is Sabina here? Is Sabina here? Clap for her. I think she needs some encouragement. Thank you. We're going to have Sheila from Greenpeace. Sheila, are you here? Oh, there you are. We're going to have Job from GreenBelt. I think those were all the names that I was given. And because I'm going to be fair, we can have... Oh. Are you sure? There are enough chairs. Imagine. I'm not sitting down. I'm going to be walking around. You can sit. Karibu, karibu. Come. Please, come. So, right. As I said, today's gathering is really about celebrating Wangari Maathai and the legacy that she has, which is celebrating you all, everybody who's here. Yes? I do also want to mention the other CFAs who are here. Please stand up again. I believe it was Nyandarua / Abades. Yeah, clap, please, help clap. So the other CFAs who are here, please stand up again so people can clap for you and see you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. Honestly, thank you. Sit down. Now, I'm going to, does everybody have a mic or access to one? Great. So I'm going to start with Sabina at the corner there, and I'm going to ask you if you could tell us your own personal story as to why. Your why. Why do you do what you do?
My name is Sabina from Ororua Forest. Why I do what I do? Because I love nature. That is one. Secondly, I come from my area where we are is like more of a slum thing. So most you not get fresh air if you don't conserve the forest. So as a result of that, I decided I want to be part of the forest. I want to conserve forest because I want fresh air. Yeah.
And what is it that your CFA does?
We do have so many activities in the forest. We have tree nurseries. If you look at Olorua Forest, it borders around 5 locations. So in every area we have developed a tree nursery so that we can be able to plant more trees in Olorua. It is around 250. It's around 618 hectares. 250 is around indigenous trees. So the other area is exotic, and even the ones that are not trees, right? So we want to make sure that at the end of maybe of 10 to 20 years, we've actually rehabilitated like 200 hectares more, so that we can be able to have more trees in Oloro Forest. So we've got tree nurseries, we've got beekeeping, we've got scouts. Actually, we as Oloro Forest, we've employed our own scouts because, as you know, in the regions are not enough. So we've been able to partner with the Friends of Oloro Forest, FOF, so that we can be able to have scouts in the forest. We do cleanups because, as the one from Nairobi area said, the dumping, especially in Kajiado, is not all that good. So we ensure in every week we do cleanups in the forest because of the dumping that it's there. But we still have challenges. We are going to come to the challenges, right?
Thank you. Yes, please introduce yourself, your personal story, and what Greenpeace does in this particular instance.
All right, thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sherry Gaki, yes, from Greenpeace Africa. And my big why is the nature and the people. That's my big why. These two things are very interconnected. You cannot have nature without people, you can't have people without nature. And going back to the bigger why for Greenpeace Africa is that we are an environmental campaigning organization. We have been doing campaigns for more than 50 years. And we do have some campaigns that we have had running here, including for those who know about the seed law that it makes it illegal to exchange indigenous seeds. We have a court case currently ongoing for that. And now we have just launched a petition on the destruction of Kenya forests 3 weeks ago. This is something that we really, it got to a place where it really got our attention. We had to do something. And as an environmental campaigning organization, we are the voice for the voiceless. And we really want to take advantage of the power and the strength that we've garnered over the 50 years, internationally and locally, that we have in terms of campaigning, and we want to be a big support to the CFAs that are there, to the organizations that have been in this fight for a long time. So we are now digging our feet deep into this work, and we really want to know how can we support this, and how can we fight together, for our forests. So just to mention this, recently we also just last week released a video for awareness on the state of our Kenya forests. And shortly after, we saw a response from Kenya Forest Service speaking about our petition and basically trashing it and saying that there's no threat to the forest. But I believe everyone in this room today has a personal story to actually prove that our forests are indeed under threat. So we'll dive deeper into that conversation today and on how we can help, how we can come together and fight for our forests. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to skip over you and you because you talked about the Gong Forest, but I would like you to introduce yourself.
Okay, morning everyone. Okay, morning everyone. My name is Wanjiro Hungi. I work with the Ngong Road Forest Association. In it, I help in programs and projects. My why is the education towards the little ones on forest conservation, because as we hear, the beautiful ones are yet to be born. And by that, we mean that the young ones, their minds are not yet corrupted. So I believe by training the young ones, especially the children, and we do that in Ngong Road Forest Association and our educational program, then we have a bright future ahead in conservation and the protection of the natural resources. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to ask a one-word answer. I know it's going to be very difficult for you, especially you, Job. To just say in one word, what do you think is the biggest threat to the forest? Just one word. Because we're going to delve into it, but I just want one word from each of you.
I can start.
One word.
Greed.
Pass it to Sherry. One word.
Personal interests.
Is that one word? Greed. Sherry.
Power.
Impunity.
Corruption.
Okay, so essentially the same underlying problem, right? And I'm sure, as we know, nobody here is going to be surprised that a lot of it has to do with our government interaction. Now, I actually want to challenge all of you on your word, and I'm going to say that one of the biggest problems I see from sitting on the outside is coordination. Because each of you and everybody here has a really good why, a really good reason why. And everything that you've mentioned seems to have the same underlying problem. So there's a unity of purpose. So then my question is, what do you think, in answer to the coordination, what do you think that you in your organizations could do to kind of build on that? And this you can use more than one word.
As I said earlier, okay, sorry. As I said earlier, personally, I believe that create awareness. This is with the young children or the younger generation. They will be ahead in time. Other theirs or mine.
So the question is really about coordination amongst yourselves. Those of you who are all fighting the exact same problem, what are the things that you think could help to unite you?
I would say like a day today at where we meet and do a lot of brainstorming. So that could be the meetings. I mean, does it do I okay, am I answering your question? Yeah, I feel that when we come together on days like today, then we can help, share ideas, etc. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I believe by networking, we network and also benchmark. If there's a success story, like we know Karura is a success story, so other forests, other CFAs can benchmark with that. And also by networking, we also able to note each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we help each other. I think that can work.
I think I'll call it what we term as the NGOs syndrome. As we know, majority of the NGOs, just like CFAs, survive on fundraising. And often, it's all about how well do you do. So as GBM, how well are we doing what you're doing? As Greenpeace, how well are we doing? How are the donors seeing us? How can we be seen? But often, this has resulted to a lot of uncoordinated efforts where most of us are doing just bits and pieces, but we don't have a meeting point. And that is what I think Conservation Alliance of Kenya has been trying to do. So what we need to do, and this is what we've tried to do with Greenpeace, we need to stop having those personal and funny interests. Same with CFAs. I wonder if CFAs really talk to one another. I don't know if you do. Often we've not been talking to one another. We need to start talking to one another. We are in the same place. We are fighting the same war. If at all we are not talking, how will we win? It is not a GBM's battle. It is not a Greenpeace battle. It's not Angong Forest battle or Olua Forest battle. It's all of us fighting for the future of our generations. So I believe, and I totally agree with you, the biggest problem is coordination. We are doing a lot, but we are not coordinated.
So thank you for that job. And, my word was power. And the reason why I say that is the power that is defeating us right now is very coordinated. But we have power. If we coordinate ourselves, we have more power. We can actually get more power than the powers that are currently pushing against us. Ever since we put out our petition, we've had Kenyans reaching out to us, or to me, even me personally, asking, what can we do? How can we help? And I would really want, by the end of this meeting, let's have a cohesive, how can Kenyans support? Because this is not just about CFA, it's not about Greenbelt movement or environmental conservation. We need to leverage on the public that is out there very willing to help. They just don't know where to start. You know, we also need to know how are we going to inform them of all what is happening, because it's one thing for us to be to harbor this information, to know there's a project that's, you know, has been appointed to happen in the forest, but we are quiet. You know, people need to know what is happening. So if there's something you know that is happening around your area, we are all here. We are now trying to create a network where we can have this information be shared here. And we have people like us who our strength is campaigning. We're very good at being a mouthpiece. There's somebody else who's very good at finding the facts. There's somebody else who is good with the research part of it. How can we come together and create one body that has more power than whatever exists already? Because we know we have the people's backing. They do not have the resources, the knowledge, the backing to say that this is wrong. But if we provide them that information and how they can support us, then we know that we have the power to change things.
Thank you. Me, I will summarize my thinking with the word male. And I will say we start by monitoring what we do. And then we come to evaluating. We go to accountability. You need to be accountable for what you do. And then you allow yourself to learn. And then as we come together of us, we will have a voice. And then there is power of voices. So if you raise our voices high, we back our voices high, then we can be able to fight these fights.
Thank you. I think they deserve a round of applause for that, honestly. Because I'm asking very difficult questions. That's my job here today. And I will say this. Coming together, for me, I think there's beauty, and I'm sure people will agree. If you just look at this room, there's beauty in diversity. You don't all have to be doing the same thing, isn't it? You just need to have the same unity of purpose and goal. So that being the case, I also want to challenge and ask, I think last year we had our Gen Z, which became Gen Zote. Gen Z, oh yeah? Thank you. Hey, that was very weak. Gen Z, oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Thank you. How is it, and to your point, Sherry, about people, the public is very aware that there are issues, and they are trying to do their little thing. So my question is, how is it that the different organizations, so for example, when you talked about Gone Forest, I was very shocked by all of that. I did not know, and I like to say that I keep abreast of things, but I had no idea. How is it that you can now bring in the communities as well, just over and above those who are in Karen, who, like, how is it that you get them more involved? Like, how is it that you share with them these things that are happening? Because you talk about campaigning. Now, currently campaigning, I know a lot of people do it online. But how else can you campaign? How else can you get people to really not just get interested because they're interested? How do you get them to know what it is they can do?
Wow, difficult one. Huh? I think one way we try to work is by, we try to use social media, where as a CFA, we know we are not alone in this fight. We have other CFAs also facing even more serious challenges out there. So we try to network through social media. We have like WhatsApp groups where we share our challenges through, one is NACOFA, that is the National Association of Community Forest Associations. It's our umbrella CFA organization. And through that, we're able to see the various challenges. I could see a challenge happening to a forest maybe way far away from Nairobi. But maybe we went through such and we were able to overcome. So we can offer in her internal solutions. And whatever we cannot be able to overcome, maybe individually or locally, we come together, and through the umbrella organization, it's able to reach maybe even the bigger bodies that make the laws, like the parliament and stuff. Also through participating in the development of policies. Sometimes we may be made aware that a bill is being processed, but then we keep quiet. Once it's passed, it starts oppressing us. So we have learned that it is possible now to have our voices heard even before the bill is passed. So that all happens through networking and also through the social media. And also trying to give our voice continuously through some many platforms, like I think she's in charge of our social media, whatever. uploading continuously what is happening around the forest. Although we have challenges, there are some things we may not put out there, but we try to do our best.
That's where coordination can come in, because you can work with people like Greenpeace or GBM or other CFAs, and you can lessons learned from them, which goes back to Sabina's point about the monitoring and evaluation and learning, because that's what that is, isn't it? Who else wants to tackle that question?
For us, one of the things we've been reflecting about is that during Wangari Maathai's time, she fought without one thing that we have today, which is the power of digital media. So imagine all that she did. She didn't have social media. Imagine. You see all those stories you've had. She didn't have social media. She relied a lot on media itself, the traditional media that we know. So for us as GBM, one of the things that we've really embraced is social media and the power of networks. We've learned that actually often we might not know because we are not in the right places. Yes. Often we don't know because we are not informed. So how do we ensure that we deal with such problems? We've ensured that we're in the right networks. We've ensured that once we get also what you're being told, we're as reliable as possible. For example, the Bomas case, when it came to us, immediately we called KFS to confirm. And after that, now you've seen what has happened later on. So we've really ensured that we embrace a lot of networking and a lot of social media as well as traditional media. One thing I want to say, traditional media is still very credible and very powerful in terms of reach. So often at times maybe we might forget what they can do, but you also need to rethink the model of how do we engage with the TV stations and the radio stations, more so the vernacular. They are also very powerful, and they're also a very great asset for us as GBM.
Yeah, I actually just want to echo what Job has said. There's one very important body we are not mentioning here, but they are with us in the room, and that's media. There's only so much we can do without creating the awareness. Even when we're talking about social media, that's our own media, whether it's as the organizations or our own platforms. That is our own media. It has its own power, and we saw that during the Gen Z period. And we also, I think we can all agree that right now, as a country, we are going through an awakening. We've stopped being passive citizens. People want to know how they can be involved. People want to spread word. It's so easy right now to spread information. So why are we not taking advantage of that? The media also has its own role to play in actually helping us highlight the issues that are going on, because we know, even over and above social media, TV and radio remain king. Now, this is me speaking as a communications person. TV and radio is still king over social media. In as much as social media is really coming up, it is still yet to surpass them. So we still need support from our media. Let's try as much as possible within our networks to see how we can get these stories out to the media. Let's see how within ourselves we can make sure we have the information, because it's one thing we will not work with rumors. We need to have facts. We need to have evidences of what is actually happening. Otherwise, as you know, our petition was being questioned on basis of where is the evidence. So if you're not able to actually prove that this is happening, we're also trying to buy the support of Kenyans, right? We're trying to prove to them that this is something they need to be concerned about. So that's, I think, again, we're coming back to the same thing. We need to just come together, find ways in which we can take advantage of our strengths, be very clear about what our demands are, and leverage as much as possible on the support of the public and the media that we can get.
Sabina? Did you want to add anything? Okay. Thank you. And just picking up on the media aspect and picking up on the community aspect, it is Wangari Maathai Day. On Saturday, it's International Women's Day. There are young people in the room. So I would like to ask, as your organizations, what kind of efforts do you need to do to pull in more women? And, well, I'm not going to ask the question to GBM about women, but about young people. How are you going to get them more involved in a way that is actually authentic, understanding them? Because although, yes, we talk about the future, but actually the forest situation is now. So if we don't engage the community, and the community being the entire country now, then there is no future to speak of. And young people are young people today, right? Gen Z, Cindy. Yes, yes, yes. They don't want to talk about tomorrow. They want to talk about today. They want to know about the changes today. As a woman, I want to know about what is it that you can do to kind of like just get us more involved in the work that you do. And I want to go over and above communication, and I'll tell you why. Because Prof didn't work with just communication. She also worked with lawyers. She also worked with financiers. You spoke about the I&M Foundation who's supporting you. There's so many different levels as into how to protect. And I think we have to also get in everybody's mind, you have to move away from just the usual, not easy, still difficult, but the usual one that everybody speaks about, and dig deeper. So how do you intend to do that? I will go back to you. Gone.
Thank you. Let me say, as the CFA of Gong Road Forest, we are organizing through interest groups or user groups that we call pillars, assuming that the association is like a building. It has pillars that support. And those pillars are usually the interest groups that, like I mentioned, the beekeepers, the tree nurseries and everything. But specifically, we have a youth pillar. And that is to take care, to make sure the youth is involved. They participate in almost everything that we do, and from all the various blocks. And I'm happy their chair is here. I don't know if he can say hi and maybe say how they do it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Simon, for recognizing me and giving me this opportunity to talk to you. So, Ngong Road Forest in the recent past has seen minimal interaction of the youth in the forest, and many of the key decisions in the forest has been made by people older than us, maybe the middle age to the older people in the society, who form the biggest population in the forest in terms of decision making and participating in forest communities. So, okay. So, I approached Mr. Simon last year during the International Day of Forest, and I said I shared my interest in participating in forest activities, and as time went by, he gave me the opportunity to lead the youth pillar and revitalize it and bring it back into action. So currently, we have a team of 25 youths, who we had a forest orientation in January 25th, 2025, where we were able to come together and say that from now henceforth, this is our forest, and we will take part in supporting, protecting, managing, and conserving this forest. And so we are looking up to coming up with a team of more than 70 youths or so who can be able to support this Community Forest Association of Ngong Road Forest in its activity, so that we can be able to have a sustainable forest and a world-class urban forest. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I want to move to Sabina as the other CFA that is represented on the panel today. Same question.
How we engage the youths. Yeah. So youth thinks they know so much, and it's true, they know, but they know little about the forest. So what we first of all do, we do hold barazas, where we make them understand the relationship between the community and the forest. They think they can walk in the forest, do anything there. There is no law. We make them understand. What we've done in our Oloro forest, we've got the PFMP. It is in soft copy. So if you're interested, tunakutumia. And then you read. If you feel like you can work with the forest, then you can be able to register among the user rights. So what we've done, we've engaged youth, because mostly they like soft landing. They don't want to do the hard way. So we engage them in the scouts. You know, that is easier.
Sabina, me, I'm not standing next to you.
So we engaged them in the scouts, we give them tokens. So as a result of that, many came. So we took them training of the tour guides. In the Aurora, you can come for the walk trails. So they are the ones who guides you. As a result of that, you pay something, they get a token to get home. So we make them understand the importance of now knowing how to fish. So engage in the other user rights that can be able to give you finances. So we've got in every word that I said, we've got 3 nurseries for these young youth, right? So when people come to plant trees in our area, we take from every tree nursery. So they get the benefit of now investing in the field, in the forest. So if we are doing the pitting, it's their work. So if we are doing the watering, it's their work. So as a result of that, you get in Ororo Forest, we've got around 170 active young men and women in the forest. Yeah.
Good job. It would be great if you and other CFAs sort of like just, again, cross-learning and how it is you would engage young people. Because there is a lot of bias against young people. This I know. Me, I've classed myself as Gen Z, but there's a lot of bias, and it would be great if the learnings that you have show that indeed the biases need not exist. I'll go over to you, Joe.
I cannot let that statement just lie like that. I'm a young person. And I sit in the management of the GreenBelt movement. So this is evidence that actually young people are brilliant and they can do a lot. What we miss are the opportunities. And this goes to the CFAs. Please, you might be doing brilliant things today, but if you're told you're not passing the baton to the next generation, you're not really thinking about the future. I really implore, I really call on you, please, let's nurture the future. Let's encourage these people to come in and maybe really take active roles. I was really excited when I saw the Mogoga's CFA. Mogoga, Gen Z wa Mogoga, where are they? Wasimame wote. I want to see what Mogoga CFA is doing. Gen Z Mogoga, look at that. For them, they've chosen to pass the baton to the next generation as early as now. Mweneza ka. So this is what we want to do. We are not saying that the current leadership is not doing a lot, but if at all we don't have people who are learning from what you're doing, as much as you're doing it so well today, tomorrow no one will be there to do what you're doing. Please, let's pass the baton.
I agree wholeheartedly. Sorry, Sherry, go on.
I also just want to quickly chime in because I'm seeing efforts across the board. There's efforts to involve the youth. But I also want to say that at Greenpeace Africa, we also have a really good number of volunteers, which is made up by a lot of youth who are looking for ways they can contribute and support some of these environmental initiatives. So I'm just seeing opportunities where, you know, from the information you're talking about, all these learning series that you do, there's opportunity for them to learn even more. There's opportunity for them to be involved more in the communities, in the forests that we have with the CFAs. What opportunities are there? We've talked about 70 youth, having 70 youth. How can we actually grow this? And it's just, I think now trying to think about it more in terms of growing a movement instead of just having small communities of youth. Because these are people who are very vibrant, they have the energy, like you've said. So we definitely value the wisdom that has been there for a long time and the experiences that have been there, but we need to learn how to pass this baton to people who are more energetic, more vibrant, and who can do what the older generation cannot do, right? So I think we also need, again, I'm just seeing opportunities for more working together, more collaboration.
Thank you. Sorry, you had a response.
Not really a response. There is somebody sitting here, I think he gave a keynote speech.
Yes.
Steve. And I don't know if he can remember me. We met many years ago. Maybe he can give just a word to the youth on consistency and persistence.
I love the energies. I like the energies with the youth. And I'm also a product of being mentored by an older person. And so I believe in mentoring the young people. There are 3 characteristics that you must embrace as a young person. Be available, ask as much as you want and then provide solutions. If you come with that attitude, you will find your space. We will walk with you and we will hold you and we will nurture your desire so that you can do that thing that gives you passion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And yes, the challenge is young people. I noticed nobody said anything about women, but I won't take that personally. But yes, because the fact is that what? Is it 3 in 5 Kenyans are going to be under the age of 25? So it is not a demographic that should or could be left out of the conversation, because that is a sure way that it's going to fail. So any discussions, as you say, we have today, will end today. Nothing further. Now, I wanted to open up to the floor. And remember, challenging questions. People don't ask questions which, you answer on KBC or something. KBC, if you're here, I'm sorry. No disrespect. Does anybody have any questions from any of our panelists? 1 second.
Sorry. Good morning, everyone. My name is Makena Kimaita, Executive Director, Youth Clan. We do a lot of climate literacy, just basically making laws simpler for people to understand, environmental laws. My question might sound nosy, but it's not. In December, the Southern Bypass was closed for very many days. I'd say maybe around 10 to 15. I used that 3 weeks. I used that road a lot. And once it was reopened, there has been massive cutting of trees in the Ngong forest. So maybe you can just elaborate to us what was happening. That's I was saying it was going to sound nosy, but I'm like when you're driving on Ngong Road, just after the Talanta Stadium that's being built, you can tell there's a difference. There are no trees. Southern Bypass also there are no trees. That's my route like every single day going home. So yeah, maybe you can just elaborate on that.
Wow, massive trees being cut in the forest. Okay, like I mentioned, we with Kenya Forest Service and I&M Foundation are in the process of fencing the sanctuary block, which is quite big. The sanctuary block starts where you mentioned the Talanta Stadium, Gong Race Course, and down the southern bypass towards Kibera. And for the fence to be put in, it is a procedure that there needs to be cleared a fence line. So the fence line where the fence will go, and the fence line also has to have a motorable road within for patrols. So that is the clearing that has been ongoing. And we have put signage on strategic point just to say what is going is forest, fencing of the sanctuary block, and improvement of infrastructure, because we'll also have some rangers security houses coming up.
Now, I'm very happy it's not people who are cutting down trees. That is very relieving. I think one of the other things is, as Kenyans, we are really not we don't trust. Even if you tell us this, I think we are so damaged that we think, so you see, like you're saying that information, I had not seen it anywhere. And I researched and tried to understand where, but if you see anything from KFS, Uongo, in fact on Twitter they put fake. And you can't believe that. So I think one of the things we're saying about coordination is if we're able to tell us, I think we even need a WhatsApp group from this meeting. If you're able to tell us that, maybe us guys have like 10,000 followers. Greenpeace have another, I don't know how many followers. Once you write a communique saying this is what we are doing, and we are able to post it and say, these are actually our partners, na ni ukweli. You see now there's some trust. But now personally I knew, something fishy is happening. But once that is done, then we're able to, like personally I really looked for information to know what was happening, and I was not able to find it anywhere. Yes, I'll create the WhatsApp group.
And also I think our social media person is here, so should be tagging all these groups in future. Yeah.
I think an action after this should be that on top of the WhatsApp group that McKenna is going to very kindly set up, it's also a question of like, can there be people, once you've gone to get your shai or whatever, please can actually exchange numbers, details, talk about what it is that you do. Because otherwise, this will just another nice meeting. GreenBelt will have fed us, and we continue. Betri likufa.
Good morning, everyone. My name is David Karani. I'm a grassroots human rights defender, and I'm really passionate about the environment. Mine is just to maybe put across a challenge for all of us who are in this space. Tomorrow is actually World Engineering Day. The engineers are going to be celebrating their day tomorrow. As we are celebrating our Environment Day today, engineers are going to have a World Engineering Day tomorrow. And as we've talked about development, most of the developments, an engineer is always behind those kind of developments. It's upon us now to ensure that we also bring on board some of these people who are very important when it comes to development, to ensure that actually they are environmental, they are able to actually be sensitive to the environment in all the plans they are doing. Because I can imagine if I'm an engineer and I'm told to cut across Ngong Road or Ololuwa Forest, and I know the importance of the forest, I'll be able to look for alternatives. I'll be able to sit down with me being environmentally conscious to be able to actually get to understand what my clients want and what I'm able to do. So I think the challenge is for all of us to be able to bring on board some of the people we may not necessarily look at being as in this conversation, but they are really important because they are the ones who will be told now we need a concrete jungle there. So if they are able to stand and say, I cannot do it, let's find another way, it would be very, very important. So I think also for the Ngong Road, you are doing an amazing work. If we are able now to reach out to other professionals so that they can come in and we are able to do this work together. Thanks a lot.
His was not a question, but a comment, but thank you. Actually, I'm going to, I can see Humphrey, and let me hand over to you, gentlemen. Can we get a mic from that side, please? And I'd like for more questions for the panel as well. I will have space for 3 more questions. So 1, Humphrey, 1. Are you in the same CFA? So it'll be a combined question. And 1 from there. Thank you. I was looking for the women. And now is when they put their hands up. Fine. 5 questions. To the panel, not comments. Thank you.
Okay, how are you all? My name is Simon Kamonde from Muguga CFA. I'm happy to hear Mr. Steve Terra talking very good things about CFAs. But my question is, Bwana Steve, have you communicated or have you tried to dig out what is really destroying the CFAs? Because right now, they are not vocal as they used. 1, there is a time we had a Kenya Forest Working Group meeting, a very fabulous group that could air everything or anything about CFAs. That is when we were we were being heard. We were also having those meetings, the monthly meetings, on the last Friday of the month. And we used to go there, discuss issues that are affecting CFAs. Today, those meetings are like they are not there, although we have gone virtual. But how many groups are really having that capacity to have the virtual meeting? That is 1. When we come to the PFMPs, because we operate through participatory forest management plans, have you really dug out to see how much is being achieved through the PFMPs? Because that is really a challenge. We have very good documents that are made, and we are very happy in those when we are launching those PFMPs and FMS at the ceremonies. But go back there and see what is being implemented. For 5 years, you just rate the percentage that has been achieved. Nothing. If you get a CFA that has really done 50%, maybe where we have donors. So I'm just challenging the civil societies, the GreenBelt, Kenya Forest Working Groups. I have been involved for two sessions, going to factified about Gong Forest, the railways that were going through the forest. What happened? Nothing. We went to Odire when there was a bypass passing through Odire. We went there, nothing happened. So really, even if we sit down here and talk very good things, unless we act. And you Gen Zs, wake up, because we had seen as if you are leading us somewhere, but it's like now you are, I don't know what happened. You are silenced. Please, speak out, because we are looking on you to support what we have been doing. I'm worried that I'm handing over the stick to the young people. But what am I handing over? What am I handing over? Just ask me after this. I will tell you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a good challenge, but I would also challenge you to ask you your role in pulling people together. So one thing I'm going to do is, like, if you ask a question, I'm also going to ask, what are you doing? Because it's always very easy, and I'm not picking on you, but it's always very easy to kind of say, what is the other doing? What are they doing? But we have to also start taking accountability. So it's wonderful that you have Gen Zs in your CFA, and that's a challenge to them. I think there is a response coming from Steve as I rush through. By the way, short, fupi.
Okay. That's a good question. In fact, we've actually done an assessment of the evolution of conservancies in the wildlife sector and how they have evolved, where they are and where they are going. But now we are in a level when USID pulls out, something is going to affect that. The same thing also is also happening with the forest governance. CFAs have come in, they are not properly legally recognized, they are not really given that space to operate. You go to the fisheries, the beach management units, the same thing, they are there, but there is one problem that cuts across all these organizations. We possess them, we own them. We don't create perpetuity. So if today Steve starts a CFA and Steve goes, that CFA suffers a little bit before the next leader comes in. So I think we also need to build the capacity of CFAs in order for CFAs to be active. What are we doing? I want to see CFAs participate in broader decision-making processes. So we are opening up that space, not just for CFAs to remain at the grassroots, but for you to bring what you are doing at the decision level making place, so that you are not fighting when a decision has already been made, but you are part and parcel of that decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So Humphrey's going to ask a short question. Then there's a lady over there. There are two ladies here. But we are going to have to wrap it up. So I'm going to go straight to the questions. No responses, because we are running out of time.
My name is Humphrey. Mine is short. Okay, but Ibatola can recall very well. Professor Wangari Maathai had connected to three factors: the cradle of life, water, land, and the forest. And trying to add another thing together, the CBOs or grassroots organization. So I'm asking CFS, have you ever thought of trying to pull your resources up to the grassroots people in order to achieve that impact?
Hey, well done. Thank you. Humphrey. Ooh, yes. As you're thinking about who's going to answer that question, let's take this question. I'm doing all my 10,000 steps today.
Hamjambo.
Hatujambo.
Jina langu ni Deandra na mimi ni mwanafunzi katika chuo kikuu cha Howard. I have 2 questions.
Ana maswali mbili.
Yeah, swali mbili. In what ways can people promote advocacy and activism to raise awareness of environmental issues internationally? And what can people who are preparing to lead or like be leaders keep in mind as they're organizing groups and preparing people to volunteer or to give back to their communities?
Thank you very much. Sorry, your name was? Deandra, thank you. Think about the answer to Deandra's question. Very well done on the Swahili, Deandra. Well impressed. Quick question.
Okay, my name is Miriam. I'm from the Fourth Estate. I write for People Daily newspaper. My question goes to Mr. Simon. When he was presenting, he mentioned something about title deeds being issued in the forest. I would like him to elaborate more about that and how bad is the case or how bad is the situation.
Okay, it turns out that those are the last questions. So, question.
Once again, you know, we learn a lot when we interact. I would like to know whether CFAs are having exchange programs so that they can share experiences and where they go wrong, they can correct each other. Thank you.
Fantastic question. Thank you. So, who's going to answer the first question from Mugugu? I'm so sorry, we have no time. Who's going to answer the first question? No, who's going to answer your question? I think you directed it at our gentleman friend here, didn't you? About CFAs and about how the work that used to... Do you have an answer?
I think he was answered by Steve.
Okay, then fine. No problem. Humphrey had a really good question. Who's going to take that? It's been given to you as well.
Yes, I can say that we are really working together so much well. Like I said, in Ololua, we've got Friends of Ololua Forest. So they are neighbors when you are menunua mashaba within. So they partner together with the CFA, that is one. And then we work very closely with the RUA.
Thank you, Sabina. Anybody else? You said it's not been answered. Okay.
Okay. I don't know which one I answer for.
Humphrey.
For the grassroots.
Yes.
Okay. The CFAs, how they pull together is by getting whatever they can, putting in whatever they can to protect the forest. But in return, they hope to get something out of the forest. So I think as CFAs, we have to cultivate. We have to cultivate this give and take. Sometimes we find most of the CFAs, especially maybe the ones not very close to Nairobi, they want to get a lot of benefit from the forest, not realizing that the forests have a carrying capacity. The forests can only sustain this much. But we want to harvest and overharvest. Sometimes we find even like areas where we do grazing, the areas are overgrazed. We have overexploitation of wood, overexploitation of herbal medicine. But when we come together through what we mentioned called the user groups, each user group should be strong enough to have its own regulation, to regulate itself, and also to have some income generating activities that they can do to make sure they are self-funding. If we so over-rely on the forest to give us, we are going to destroy our forests instead of protecting them. So even as we are coming together as CFAs, we look internally, what can we do and generate income? Some of the activities like tree nurseries, they actually very good income generating projects with the campaigns that are going on, although that's a different topic of the 15 billion trees. Where do those trees come from? We know the capacity, the Kenya Forest Service may not have the capacity to raise those seedlings. But if the CFAs are organized, that's an opportunity. But the moment the CFAs become strong financially from the grassroots, that's when they can be able to fight up there. But so long as we don't have the financial muscle, anybody who comes with some finances, be it government or whoever, we follow that direction. That's the unfortunate position that the CFAs are in. And I think there was a question about title deeds, which is a very awkward question for me to answer. I'm not government. But what the situation is that people have interests in the forest. And it's not starting now. These are things that started all the way back in the 90s. People got interests, and by then, it was possible for the regime then to issue pieces of land without due process. So when that happened politically, somebody got a piece of land and he was able to get a title. And he claims he holds that title to date. There are so many claiming, even in Karura and Gong Road Forest. But the law, I think the superior law is the Forest Act, that so long as the forest has not been degazetted, it still remains forest land. So they have their titles, but the forest remains public land because it has not been degazetted. So those are the titles that they keep shooting. You know, they come, they show you a title, and you see it's like a genuine one. But those we refer now to government to deal with. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to you later. I'm going to ask Sherry if you could answer our Swahili-speaking student from Howard University.
Oh, she's done such a great job. Yeah, so I'll just try to recall your question as you asked it, but I think it was on the lines of how can the international community support some of our efforts, advocacy efforts, and also join in activism for this. So our petition is a public petition, and all our Greenpeace petitions are usually public. We get support from all over the world. So actually, please, we need signatures from all of you on this petition. So this is something that you can share within your networks. This goes globally. We can get support on a petition from all our global supporters. The other thing is in terms of how you can support our advocacy or activism. A lot of times we share what our campaigns are about. And we share a lot of that on our social media platforms because that's honestly our biggest platforms and the easiest way for us to connect globally. So this is information. As we roll out a campaign, we have, for months we are really giving a lot of information about this specific campaign, updates on what's happening, dates on when we will submit the petition to the specific authority. For this petition, we are petitioning CS, the Cabinet Secretary of Environment, that's CS Duale. So there will be, this is all the processes that we take with our petition. So, and for us, we are a campaigning organization. We are activists. So joining part of our volunteer movement is a great way to stay connected with what we are campaigning on, and also just looking at other players who do the same thing and how you can get involved. I can just speak mainly for Greenpeace Africa. And I just want to insert some facts we came across just about the Kenya forest cover situation. We currently have 6.3% of forest cover, and we rank the 5th lowest in sub-Saharan Africa. This is in contrast to Tanzania, which stands at 50.6%, Uganda at 11.2%, which Uganda at 11.2 is nearly double what we have as Kenyans. Yet we just saw very recently that our president said that we had planted 750 million trees in 2024. So my question, and I know this was a forum for me to answer questions, but I know there's experts in the room, and I just want to know, in all our tree planting activities that we are currently doing, and the goal that we have to plant 15 billion trees by 2032, we are also seeing all these development projects targeting forests. They said severally that we have a big appetite for our forests. So my question is, how can we advocate or also educate the public on what a functioning tree planting, tree growing system looks like? Something that will actually take us to the 15 billion trees by 2032. Because and I stand corrected, but the 750 million, I don't know how we can actually prove that this actually happened. And we don't want to keep misleading the public, misinforming the public about the actual numbers that we're planting. Yet we have a very big goal, and we can see where we stand as Kenyans, 5th last in sub-Saharan Africa. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, very quick. Can I ask before you chime in? I would like the last question to be answered first. Your question. Yeah.
It was answered.
It was answered. Oh,
Yes.
it was. Sorry.
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
I think Cheryl has just started, open the Pandora's box that we've all been avoiding to discuss here. Did we plant 700
Sorry,
million?
correction. I just want to be clear. For this panel, I know, and I know everybody in this room understands the dire situation, especially when it comes to dealing with government. But what I wanted to do is to challenge everybody to start thinking differently about how to address that. So thank you so much, Sherry, for raising it. But it is not to avoid the elephant in the room. But because it is an elephant, if you take bites from one leg, all of you don't even know what you're eating is an elephant, you're not bringing it down.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
And that's the thought we had, eh?
So before you start then, because you're about to head there, you wanted to answer one of the questions, and then we go back to you. Go ahead.
A CFA member asked if the PFMPs and FMAs are still viable, or are they just documents that we write, and are they implemented really? So I was among the team that developed the PFMP for Ngong Road Forest that we launched last year, 4th October. So now, the thing is, it's true that most of the action plans need resources for them to be implemented. They need money. So he asked, are we having exchange programs as CFAs? So for example, around last year, 14th March, we visited Karura Forest, where we went for an exchange program, and they guided us on budget controls, fundraising, and how to get the resources to implement those, the objectives that we have in the PFMPs. So I would really advise that it's good that we, for example, your CFA can visit our CFA, and then we can teach each other or maybe exchange ideas on how to, get the finances to implement these action plans that we have in our PFMPs, because it's true they need the money and resources for them to be implemented. So for us, we visited Karura, and also we have other CFAs that visit our association too.
Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to you, Job. Just very quickly, when it comes to finances, Steve did talk about, nature-based solutions bringing in a lot of money. So there's also something about educating the public as to what that is, as well as we don't have to continuously depend on the USAIDs of the world. Start garnering and fundraising locally, because Kenyans have money. We saw that during the Gen Z protests, when how many millions were raised for the people who have been injured? 30 million. From just, everybody's little thing. So I think the thing is, we need to start thinking about fundraising internally, engaging your communities, and you will find that is more sustainable than expecting, outsiders to build our country. I'm going to hand over the moderation now to Job. I believe my bit has ended as he tackles the big elephant in the room.
Great. Thank you so much, Mona. And I think as we finalize, let's address this. Let's clap for Mona. I think that was super good. We've really been excited to discuss and engage. Allow me just to address. Yes, I will also continue. Allow me to address that component of 15 billion trees. This is our take. The initiative by the government is amazing. It's brilliant, right? Would you all want to have 15 billion trees by 2032? It's an amazing thing. But the experts who have been doing this for over 50 years as GreenBelt movement, there's a difference between planting and growing trees. So the government has really been thinking a lot on planting, but there's not a lot of attention on the aspect of growing. For the experts in this room, actually majority, often you find survival rate is actually at times even at 40%, 50%. So what the government has adopted through the Jazamiti app is just a matter of documenting the aspect of putting that seedling on the ground. But you're not really talking about what is the survival rate? Who is documenting? Are we having experts who are following up on where these trees are being planted? So we are telling the government, it's a good thing. But if at all you'll plant that 15 billion trees and allow 30 billion trees to be harvested by 2032, we are doing zero work. Right? Because what is happening is, we've seen what is happening. Development across Abadeas, 25 acres, Ndonyo Hither Road being built. Right? We've heard about Swam. They won't take 50 acres to build an urban town. That's a forest being cut. We are talking about this Ngong forest here. Same thing. They want to build a railway across a whole forest. Those are trees being cut. Let's also complicate it more. They've lifted the logging ban, a moratorium that was there for over 7 years. They've now allowed people to cut trees as they want, right? Plantations in public forests are still thriving. So we are talking about trees being cut every day. So as much as we are saying we are planting, on this other side, we are really harvesting a lot of trees. Recently, Citizen TV did an expose on charcoal burning in Kajiado. How many of you saw it? So some of us actually happened to see. The same situation is being replicated in places like Narok, Masai Mau, the normal Mau. But because we are not talking enough, we are busy saying we are planting 15 billion trees. But are we really protecting what we have? Isn't it easier for us to protect what we have first before planting new trees? Do you agree with what you're saying? So yes. We are telling the government, we have a lot of experts in-house who will be willing to work with them. But that model, provided you are not protecting what is there, will not really succeed. And I think other than that, we'll give our panelists the final comments as we wind up.
Okay, mine is to call upon all experts here. In the forest, there are so much resources, but as we look at the benefit sharing of the resources, it's not workable to the CFEs. So I call upon you who've got those experts, kindly pull or push the bill for the benefit sharing so that them that are conserving the forest can be able to benefit. Thank you.
Thank you. My final word would be about collaboration today. Let's pull on our strengths. Let's take advantage of the strengths that we have. If you have more information about how to actually, what exactly is happening at the forest level, how we can plant and grow trees, please, let's all come together and support each other on this. We can only do this if we come together, and there's strength in numbers. There's power in the numbers, and we actually have that power. So whether it's from Gen Y to Gen Z, we all have our strengths, right? Whether it's from Greenpeace Africa, GreenBelt, the CFAs, other CSOs that are present here, we all have our strengths, and this is our own individual fight. So we need to take it personally and really, really, really not relent until we actually get freedom for our forests. Thank you.
Mine is just to call on us, let us work together. It is not easy to fight alone, especially for the forest, for green spaces. And just like we were reminded how our mother, the late professor, worked. She worked tirelessly. And had she not done that, and with the team that she was with, we could not be having forests. So today, I'll call upon all of us to reignite that fire within us. Let us protect our green spaces. One, the forests that are remaining, we pull all the resources that we can to make sure they are clearly demarcated. Sometimes it's very difficult for you to get an updated map of the forest because they don't know what is going to be leased tomorrow, what is going to be hived out. So if currently we have a physical boundary around each forest, it becomes now very challenging for the developers to try to push in. And we can only do that by, first of all, ensuring there is a social fence around. Wherever it's Arboretum, Gong Road, Ololua, or wherever, there should be a social fence of the community around that place to make sure that you guard your forests. Make sure you know what is happening there. And like we said, we network, we keep information flowing. And through that, once we have the social fence, this encroachment and illegal grabbing will be a thing of the past. Thank you so much.
Mine will be to encourage on mentorship to the youth. I consider myself a Gen Z. So I really hope and ask that the older generation, that we are with here, you guys should not give up on us. We can be sometimes a bit difficult, but we need your training. We ask that you give us the guidance and the mentorship that we deserve in forest conservation. And I know within no time, you'll pass the baton to us. And we'll also do that to the other generation. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our panel. Let's clap for them. Asanteni sana as they take their seats. This is beautiful. So we have actually come to the end of our event. And you agree with us, it has been a very beautiful afternoon, morning and afternoon. As you reflected, I'm spoken a lot. Before I pass over the mic to our ED to close the meeting, there's a request from our board member, Bwana Kemamo, to say something.
Good afternoon. My concern is about interaction of CFAs in this republic, because some of the CFAs in the rural areas have really netted the forest. Some of them are really getting portions in the forest and sell a little bit to our community, and the trees that are planted there are not taken care of. There is no aftercare of those trees. So they die as they remove their harvest, and it is zero work. I think CFAs should take that one seriously and see and to wait that whatever there is Paris system, they follow up and see the survival rate of the trees are there. Therefore, we shall be doing zero work, rehabilitating our forests, and then the trees are spoiled by our community. Take care of that. Secondly, the power of the community. The power of the community is very strong. I'll give you an example of Zaina Forest. The other day, I got a message from there that people who were relocated from Zaina Forest to Muiga in Kieni, and the others to Sorio Range, those who went to Kieni are reclaiming the Zaina Forest again. And they have audacity of fencing off 4 acres. 4 acres, claiming that it belongs to their family. Through the faces of CFAs. But the community, the power of community, because we delayed to go there because there were no vehicles to take us there. Job was in Narok, and when he came back again, he went to Mombasa. But I received a message that locals gotten annoyed and went there and destroyed the fence and chased that man away. So the power of community is very strong. And that is why we are being taught civic education on rights of human being. Therefore, we are going to see the Job and the ED, because now he's here, we can travel to Nyeri and see the destruction of Zaina Forest by the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bwana Kimamo. I'll invite our ED. Karibu sana Bwana Madam ED, as we close the meeting.
Wow. Thank you so much, Job and everybody. And I think it has been very brief morning. Actually, the time has really passed very fast because of the conversations that we've had. Therefore, we just want to take this opportunity to really give a huge thank to our partner, Conservation Alliance of Kenya, for working together with GreenBelt Movement to convene this particular session. And of course, the other partners that have been able to join us today for the commemoration. And as we say that the conversation keeps on going on in terms of our engagement and our collaboration towards the work that we are doing. And three things that I've been able to gather as I just bring this to an end is that we have heard about the power of our community forest associations. Please, let's tap on that. Let's keep on engaging them. Our friends from the Ngong CFA, I think you've really been setting a very good pace for us. I think we collaborated with you a few days ago to just see exactly how we can work together. And this is something that we are encouraging the rest of us who are here. I've heard and seen quite a number of you here. Well done for the work that you are doing. Let's tap into the power of the CFS and how we can be able to stand for that particular force of being forest defenders, knowledge bearers, and also sustainable land managers in our communities. Then the second thing that I've been able to gather through this conversation is around the urgent action call. We cannot continue having conversations without that collective urgent action, and this is across everybody. Do the little thing that you can do. And this now leads me to the third important part of our conversation and call to action. The long rains are about to fall. In the next 1 month, I'm very sure the entire country will be experiencing long rains. If you do not dig a hole and plant a tree and nurture that tree, Professor Wangari Maathai told us you've not done anything meaningful. Please, go back in your little way, encourage each and every person. Once the rain starts, let's plant the trees that we want to see ourselves reaching that target, being able to commit, and not only just planting the trees, we've been encouraged to nurture them. What is it that actually you'll be able to do to nurture that particular tree so that you can be able to achieve the forest cover that actually we desire to have? We are lagging behind. 5 from the bottom. Oh my goodness. That is not what Kenya we are known for. Kenyans, we are known for good things. Let us pull ourselves from that. Number 5, let's at least come up, and this can only be done by our collective action. Thank you very much, everybody, and to all our friends and our partners, we continuously welcome you to partner with us, work with us as GreenBelt Movement, and we look forward even to a more engaging year and process with the work that we are doing. Thank you so much, Job, and the team that has been behind here to put this event a success, and I know it has been quite back-to-back hours to make sure that this event is a success, and we want to really recognize that effort. And well done, and I believe we'll continue engaging as we take our tea, and this is something that we are proud of as GreenBelt Movement. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Idi. We are going to invite Claire Osoro to pray for tea as we go. Sindio, try to kunywa chai, sindio? And I know we'll be having a press briefing immediately here. So we'll also be requesting we work with the journalists so that we can coordinate well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's believe and pray. Father, Lord, we come before you this special day that we're honoring the late Professor Wangari Maathai, that in the flora and fauna of the presence that we are as GreenBelt offices, as we dine the tea that has been granted unto us, Lord, that we will be gracious enough to be able to honor her by being able to transfer this cup of tea, a shared moment, and just impact the specific communities and stakeholder engagements that we're in. As we prepare to take this team, mighty God, we present it unto you for blessing. Through Jesus' mighty name we pray, trusting and believing. Amen.
We are done. Asanteni sana kwa kuja. Let's kindly serve, go and serve tea.